Hi BookTube, it's Missy, and today I'm here to share with you guys my Read-O-Rama wrap-up along with my weekly wrap-up for week 44. All last week I was chugging along with a book, and then I finished 3 books over the weekend, which was very exciting for me because I can finally take those off of my TBR. The first one being Caroline Kepnes' You. Well, this is the author, obviously. That's the title. You is the title. And this is an adult psychological thriller kind of book. It's very slow in the way that it captures the person. Maybe some people enjoyed it right off the bat. I thought it was pretty slow moving. There's no huge twists or turns in the book, and there's no, like, when you're watching a thriller, you have that music in the background which makes you go like, there's none of that in this book. Joe, the main character, is super creepy from the get-go, but the girl that he's stalking, he actually dates. So it's kind of like a stalker book, but a twisted one. And he dates the girl, but she doesn't know to the extent of how weird he really is. And so it's very bizarre to explain, but I really did enjoy it. I gave it 4 stars. Joe is absolutely disgusting. Like, the first 150 pages or so, I couldn't get into it because I was so mortified at the depth of, like, insane he is. Like, just everything. He was just so repulsive, and the way he spoke was extremely vulgar and totally disgusting, and it's not anything that I haven't heard before, but I don't know how Caroline did it. She spoke through Joe just like a man. Like, her voice, her male voice, was perfect. I, being a girl, don't know if I could have replicated. I mean, when you read it, it's definitely a male that you are reading. You are not reading a female speaking like a male. It's a true male. Just everything about it was fantastic. Just read it. I mean, everybody is going to have their own opinion on the book. And Joe and Beck, I would describe them as just like Amy and, why can't I think of his name right now? The 2 characters from Gone Girl. They are both equally disturbing and assholes and terrible people. And Joe and Beck are exactly like those people in Gone Girl. They don't have very many good qualities to them. They're shallow and egocentric, but it works. It just works, and it's a great book, and I'm so happy I, continued on and completed it. The next book that I read was for the Read-O-Rama. So this one, the challenge was to read a book that's been on your shelf for over a year. I was going to read A Girl of Nightmares, but I just couldn't get to it. And this one has been on my shelf since December of 2014, so almost a year. Good enough. The second book that I completed this weekend was also challenge number 2 on the Read-O-Rama, which was to read a book under 200 pages, and I chose Cut by Patricia McCormick, and I really enjoyed this book. This is one mental illness book that I've read this year, and I've read many, that actually affected me because I have kind of dealt with this before. So Callie is a cutter, and if that's one of your trigger warnings and you don't want to read about cutting, then I would, not read this book. But it's not, the cutting in the book isn't very graphic, and it's not what the book really is about. I mean, it is, but it isn't. So I'll try to explain a little bit better. So Callie is in a mental hospital for teenage girls that have behavioral disorders, or not disorders, but behavioral illnesses? I don't know. So there's girls that have eating disorders and girls that are drug addicts, and then with Callie, she's a cutter, and so she's here getting treatment to, get better. You learn about her life there. It doesn't seem like she's there for very long, maybe like 3 months, 4 months. and you learn about the other girls that are at this hospital with her. But I've heard lots of people cut because they want to feel real. They want to, the blood that, that is shown from cutting makes them feel alive. And in this book, it didn't seem like Callie was cutting for that particular reason. It felt like she was cutting to release pain because she has no voice. Her brother is a very sick child. He's got asthma. The mom is completely beside herself because she's always so worried about the son. The dad feels like the mom and the son are just unavailable, and so the dad drinks to like cope with everything. And so as the dad is drinking to cope with the pain and at home, Callie cuts to cope with the pain, if that makes sense. So I would consider her more of like an alcoholic. Like she's doing it because she wants to numb herself. And the way I related to this, and this is kind of TMI, but there was a point in my life where I was extremely depressed and in a lot of pain, and I didn't cut because I'm afraid of blood, but I would pinch the inside of my arms super, super hard, and I would continue to do it for weeks and weeks on end, and I was mesmerized by the bruising to the point where I was like, I liked the way they looked. And of course I did it like where nobody would see because I didn't want to have people ask me questions, but every time I felt like I couldn't deal with the pain that I was going through, I would pinch myself really, really hard, and I continued to do that for a couple months, and until I, got help and figured out, how to cope with the pain that I was going through. It's definitely not on the same level as cutting, but it kind of felt the same, and I had a, kind of a rough childhood, and so I could relate to Callie not being able to speak up for herself, or trying to be the mother hen. Like she has to take care of the mom, the dad, the brother, because they aren't functioning properly, but she's still a teenager, so she can't really function properly either, and she's dealing with all these emotions and all of this stress, and the cutting is a release. And so those that gave this book 1 or 2 stars because they didn't feel like it portrayed cutters in the right light, that may be true, but for me, for not being a cutter, but for being someone who hurt themselves in order to share or express the pain because I couldn't speak it, it made sense. And so I really enjoyed the way the book was written, everything about the book. I liked the ending. So yeah, if you are interested in reading a mental illness book that's really short, pick this one up. And then the very last book that I read, which I completed yesterday, was Beastly Bones by William Ritter. So with those 2 books being super dark, this one was my sunshine. I mean, it even, radiates yellow. It was so freaking good. It was so good. I gave it 500 stars. I hope William Ritter never, ever stops writing. I hope this series drags out and Jacoby and Abigail Rook go on many adventures together. This book is completely different than Jacoby. Here, I'll show you Jacoby. This is Jacoby. This is his first book, so this is the sequel. In the first book, they are tracking a murderer, and in this book, they are also tracking a murderer, but it's, a completely different case. You meet definitely different people in this story. They were all colorful, all wonderful. William has a really good... Where is that? Okay, William does a really good job with hilarity, and the dialogue between Jacoby and Abigail are amazingly awkward and hilarious, and I wish Jacoby was like my uncle or something. Like, I would love to know him in real life. I think Abigail Rook is a kick-ass character. I think she is just, I don't know. Like, I would want her to be my best friend. She knows what she wants. She goes and she gets it, but she's really sweet and very shy at the same time. And I just love her. I love her, and I love what's going on with her and Mr. Barker. I can't wait for this little blooming relationship to really get going. I hope that they stick to speaking with each other, because they live in different cities, but I really hope that their love blossoms in any books that come along in the future. This is my favorite mystery novel to date. Like, I've read mystery novels in the past where it was like really, just adult content, and those mysteries were great, but this one just makes me so freaking happy. It makes me so happy to read these books. Like, I could see myself reading these over and over and over again. They're just lovely. It's so fun. It's so fun. It's any age could read this. It's not anything like what it's a YA book, because Abigail is, I don't even know it's YA, because Abigail isn't a teenager. She is like 20 or 19. I guess, I don't know. Anybody could read it, and I'm going to make my son read it because he likes hilarious things. If you haven't read these books yet, read them. Please read them. And that is it for my wrap-up. I'm hoping to get a few more books in this week, before the week ends. I am currently reading Winnie and the Devil or something like that. I have 5 books like sitting on my computer desk, hoping that I can read 1 book a day this entire week while I'm off of work. That would be amazing. If I don't see you guys before Thanksgiving, because it's in 2 days, I hope you guys have a wonderful Thanksgiving. If you live here in the States, if you live in other countries, I don't know what you do in November. Like, I had this talk with my sister. She lives in New Zealand, and she was telling me how in New Zealand they don't have Thanksgiving, and I was confused, and I said, oh God, duh, there was no pilgrims anywhere else in the world. So it's just so funny that this is like an American thing that we do. But if you guys live in America, happy Thanksgiving. If you guys live anywhere else in the country, or not country, in the world, I hope you have a wonderful week, and eat lots of food, and be merry and thankful for things, even though it's not Thanksgiving. Just, I'm thankful for lots of stuff, and I'm thankful for you guys. I can't believe just every day I log on to, see what videos are out there, and I'm always dumbfounded that I have comments to, answer, and I love that I got to meet all of you guys and become friends with a lot of you guys, and that you guys actually care to watch my videos. I am thankful for all of you, because without you, I would be talking to this camera for no reason. I mean, it's great therapy, I guess, if you need to just talk. And since I am a mom and I spend most of my time with children, it's so nice to talk to adults sometimes. So this is kind of like me talking to adults, because you guys are watching, and even though I can't hear you talking back to me, sometimes I feel like this isn't insane. Like, talking to a camera is totally normal. Anyways, I'm getting totally sick. I hope you guys have a wonderful week, and thanks for always watching me. Thank you, and I will talk to you soon. Bye!